Hey, what's up guys? Gordon Briley here, and today I want to go over my favorite exercise on the HelloFit system, and that is shoulder day. I'm just going to show some brief setup things that I go through when it comes to shoulder press. So the first one I want to do is just a basic overhead press. And for me, what I like to do is I like to extend the arms. So I'll go down, so from the end of this piece here to here, I'll put 3 or 4 holes in that gap. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to match it on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4 exposed. Now I know they're even. I'm going to put the handles, when I use it, downward. And I'll show you why in a second. I'm just going to start out with some really lightweight, get warmed up and just demonstrate it. So I'm just throwing some 10s on. So depending on what type of press or what type of movements that you like to do, and even if you're looking for more strength or hypertrophy, so it's all about customizing it to your needs and wants. But I'm just going to kind of go over some of the things you're going to want to think about when using this, whether it be just some safety precautions and just some different reasonings behind why I do what I do. You guys can determine that for yourself based on your goals. For this one, I actually don't want the bench. Put this away, just tuck it away. So the one thing that I would say, I extended my arms out because I want to lengthen how far away I am from the pivot point and be able to go through a full range of motion. So when I train, it's really important to me that I do that I go through a full range of motion with all my movement, especially shoulder. So depending on if you have injuries, stuff like that, you can kind of delegate where you're sitting and what ranges you're going through based off of your specific situation. But the one thing that I always like to think about when I'm going to do this type of movement, shoulders are ultra vulnerable. So I'm always thinking of how to keep my shoulders safe. And I have seen a few people where they try to approach this and they're going to pull it and they're lifting from way back here, and that's going to put your shoulders in a really vulnerable position. So just like if you've ever worked with kettlebells, it's really important to keep the weight close to center mass. And that's what you're going to do, especially to protect shoulders, because it's not the best designed joint in the world. So injuries are super common. So I'm always going to keep these really close to center mass. Get ready, get behind them, and then I'm going to come all the way out here. So now when I press, I can go straight up. Like I said, I want full range of motion, and depending on what bench you have, that's going to matter to how far out you can go. If I had a shorter bench, I would just not telescope it as far. But from here, now with the HelloFit system, the way that it works, this is super badass, but you can press in a lot of different motions, and to me it's really important to, if you're training functionally, to train in all planes of motion, not just straight up and down in this pattern. That is great. So if you're someone, an overhead athlete, an Olympic lifter, someone that does CrossFit, or you just want to work on that function, I like to get towards the end of the bench, grab a neutral or standard. If you're someone that works with a barbell and you want to have this actually function to make that position stronger, go with a standard grip. And then I like to push all the way through, even with my head, and make sure that I'm going through that full range. If you're someone that's more interested in hypertrophy, building muscle, and you want to kind of keep time under tension, and you're not really focusing so much on full extension, you could be back here. One of the great things is you could start here if you wanted, and then as you fatigue, you can continue going just by scooting back a little bit, and you're still smoking those shoulders. But single arm, I like to have different widths that I train. Would want to be careful on an ultra wide grip. not to injure those rotator cuffs, but lots of different angles. And then you can cross over here, so that's definitely going to hit your range of motion, lengthen your rotator cuffs, rhomboids, trap, all the different musculature in the back. That way you're keeping everything balanced. So when you're bringing it in, still protect those shoulders by scooting back and keeping this in front of you and releasing that tension. That way you're never going to get injured, protect your shoulders. And then these can go in lots of different positions. You can take the handles, flip them. It just takes 2 seconds. If you wanted to have them this way for whatever reasoning, just know that that's a possibility. Just always check your top pin. So if you wanted it in farther, whatever that reasoning may be, you can move them. So it's just a lot of different options. So that's just a standard press. I'm going to show you how to set it up because I do all kinds of different shoulder workouts on this. So I love lateral raises. So you can do it lots of different ways with this. So it's really going to be about finding your range from this point to your hand and making sure that you're in the right position. So sometimes if this is extended out, you can just step away and do lateral raises. You can switch your grip quick, so less of a bent arm. It's going to be more of your medial delt here. If you have this arm bent, you can step out. You're going to have more of a bent arm naturally. You're going to move more weight that way, so if you're trying to build mass. Super simple. Okay, front raises. It's just a matter of making sure with the maneuverability of this arm. I love that you can cross over. So just like you would with the dumbbell, it's going to mimic that. So good range of motion again. Training all angles. Do it at the same time. Sometimes just a matter of walking, moving your feet a little bit. If I needed to. Just quickly make an adjustment, no big deal. Test it out. Maybe that's perfect, maybe it was too much. But a lot of different shoulder options. Quickly, I'll just show you, I like for a rear delt to extend this out pretty far. So I'm in the 1, 2, 3 holes up from the bottom. And then I'm going to walk it out. We're going to do rear delts. Do some holds, isometric holds, some pumps. A lot of different ways to achieve a good shoulder workout. So these are some of the basics. Just want to give you guys some ideas. And then if you guys have questions or ideas, you guys come up with stuff, I want you to share it with me. Go to my Facebook page, email, whatever it is you want to get it to me. I would love to see you guys.